Today I am here at Missions Regional Park in San Diego. This park is, depending on where you live in San Diego, roughly 15 to 20 minutes from where you live, which I think is pretty accessible. One of the good things about this park is you can find parking here even on a crowded day. I actually went to Balboa Park first, which is literally like in the center of the city. You could almost equate it to like the Central Park of San Diego. And Balboa Park has tons of parking lots, but they were all filled. It's a Saturday, so there's literally like people like circling all the parking lots, myself included, like sharks. So we were like basically like a family on a Sunday morning at Costco, just circling the park like a zoo, looking for a parking spot. And I ended up giving up after searching for about like 10-15 minutes because it was just super aggregating, stressful. I mean, I kind of came in there knowing that that would probably happen because it is a Saturday afternoon. But point being, I decided not to give up in my pursuit of going to a park and seeing some nature. And I think I made the better choice here because even though there's a lot less parking spots here, I was easily able to find one. I think there's several others. So this is, I guess, is kind of a bit out of people's way, so much so that there's probably thousands right now who are at Balboa Park, but I guess they don't want to drive 15-20 minutes to come here. And I would say the nature here is much better. Like, look at that. That looks like some real nature. Balboa Park, it's great. It's giant, it's massive, but it's artificial. You could tell. Everything about it, the trees, the lawn, everything was manufactured and put there. It's still very nice, but yeah, if you're ever in San Diego, I highly recommend checking out this park, going on a hike. This is actually going to be my last day here before I depart. But I really feel like in the time I got here, I really was able to get a sense of living here, and I can see why people love it. Is it like 10 times better than another city? No, but I would say it's depending, it's subjective, but depending on, if I had to quantify, I could say it could be like 1.5 times better. Because literally you have a river here, mountains, rocks, trees, or I guess brush more than trees, but you get access to a real park with trees and everything. And you get access to beaches if you like to swim or surf. And apparently, I was going to say there's no snow here in San Diego, but it turns out there is. I've asked a few locals and they're like, yeah, we actually do have snow, not in San Diego, but if you are to drive like 30 minutes or so, there's a mountain nearby where you can ski and snowboard and all this stuff. So San Diego kind of has it all. Good weather. Yeah, you don't really get snow here, and it being almost Christmas as I film this, that might be a little bit of downside if you don't like it. But if you're more of a beach person, I mean, this place is perfect. Well, almost perfect. Apparently, the Pacific Beach is really cold, so you really don't get a chance to basically get into the water until it's like the peak of summer. And here we are at this beautiful lake of some sort. And yeah, I think the crossing is that way, so we will go the same way. Oh, actually it says closed to the public, not a river crossing. Okay, so I guess I'll walk around that way. And I guess you technically can cross. That man just did, but he's doing some type of trail run, so maybe he's breaking the rules there. But yeah, I'm gonna follow the rules and just find another way to walk. So this area is closed as well, so I'll go that way, in that direction. And let me tell you a bit more about any struggle I have, if I were to say I had a struggle along this journey. So obviously there was the pursuit of finding somewhere with nature today that was like a must-see, and Balboa Park was one of my choices, but then that didn't work out, so I came to Missions Park. The other struggle, not a big one, but something to consider, is the struggle as a theme to my videos of not just experiencing and enjoying and visiting a place, but also really getting a sense of the local community and what it's like to live here. And if you've been watching more than one of my videos, you know that I travel around, explore, stay for a while if I like a place, and really get a sense of not just the touristy things, but what it's actually like to live here. Going to these parks, going on the hikes. You've seen me hike in Colorado, in New Mexico, in Texas, and so on and so forth. I mean, look at that, beautiful. And I think one part of that has to do with not just doing the touristy things. And I think a lot of people can also claim, oh, I've visited San Diego, or I've been to Santa Fe, oh, I've been to Las Cruces or Colorado Springs, but not a lot of them can claim they really got a sense of what it would be like to live there like I have. If they go, it's usually like, oh, we're gonna go for 2 days, we're gonna hit up all these touristy things, and then we're gonna leave. But they don't get the chance to experience that beautiful sunset over there, for example, and admire how the orange of those leaves hit the sunlight on this park that's, I would say, more of a local experience. So I guess the point I'm making is the struggle, if there is one, is simply that I have to test these places out and really get a sense of them and really get a feel of like, when I do settle down, where should I go? And that can actually become more of a stressful thing than an enjoyable thing, because you're essentially constantly assessing places, analyzing, and you run into what's called the paradox of choice, where if you have too many choices, then you feel dissatisfied with any option because there's no perfect option, or there's always could be a better option. And so it's something that I would say I'm very blessed but also cursed to have the opportunity to deal with, which is that, at least for now, assuming I keep my job, oh, look at that beautiful view, I could, in theory, live here or live elsewhere, anywhere within reason in the country. I would say anywhere extremely expensive might be tough, but still doable. So, maybe SF, Hawaii, New York might be like the few areas of exceptions. And I'll tell you this, the hike here, look at those mountains. Better than anything I've seen elsewhere, I'll tell you that much. Well, not, okay, that's debatable, but better, what I meant to say is better than where I started my journey, which is Maryland, Virginia area. In my opinion, especially the Maryland area, it really can't touch a view like that. Like, I don't think you could get that type of view in Maryland with the mountains like that, as accessible as you can in San Diego, and have equal access to a beach. It's incredible, which is why I think people love to live here. The nature is a huge selling point. And if I had to choose between the two, San Diego is better. But as you start to look at some other states and cities and countries, I mean, there's always pros and cons. Here it's really expensive. There's tons of people here, which makes parking and traffic harder, as mentioned at the start of the video, and so on and so forth. A lot of people say this is kind of too much of a slow-paced beach town, or it's too filled with college students, or blah blah blah. Some say, some say that they don't take too kindly to Asian men here. They suffer in the dating scene, and blah 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 blah. So there is no perfect in a sense, and that all being said, what I like to say is, you're not trying to find perfect. You're simply trying to find a place that is better enough for you. So just to wrap up here, I know that wherever I choose, if I were to choose it one day to settle down for the long term, it's going to be better than where I started, which was kind of a small suburb town where there really wasn't that much remarkable nature within a 100-mile radius. I mean, you got some decent hikes, but no beaches. And then it was just a suburb where there's a bunch of shopping centers, some local parks, nothing incredible, not even a lot of activity or traffic in the area. Your best bet was to basically drive an hour to 2 hours into DC. And DC is more of like a commuter town just for work. And then it's kind of a ghost town on the weekends. So in my opinion, no matter where I choose, it's going to be better than where I started. So I don't have to fret. And if you don't like it, this is a tip I always tell people who are always scared of moving. If you move somewhere, you don't like it, you can always move back. It's not ever the end of the world. And yeah, I think it's a great tip. So yeah, I'm going to continue hiking. I actually have until 5 p.m., which is soon after the sunset. So I'm just going to capture some awesome content for Instagram. But then I'm going to turn off the camera and just enjoy for my own self-indulgence.